Today we're going to work on distribution and distribution when we have two sets of parentheses. So let's review some basic distribution. If I have 4 times x plus 3 in parentheses, we have to give the 4 to both of those and it becomes 4x plus 12. That we should have remembered from before. Same thing here, if I have x times x plus 3, I distribute that x. X times x is x squared and 3 times x is 3x. These are ones we've done before. Now we have to start with something where it's a little bit different. Often what we think when we have this is kids want to just do 4 times x and x times 3. But if we think back to what we just did above, if I have x times x plus 3, it gives me 2 terms. If I have 4 times x plus 3, it gives me 2 terms as well. So this should end up giving me 4 terms. I like to think of this as the 4 has to go to both of these, and the x has to go to both of these. I call it the rainbow method because it looks like I'm making some rainbows. So 4 times x is 4x, 4 times 3 is 12, x times x is x squared, and x times 3 is 3x. So there's where my 4 terms come from. Now I do look and I say, can I simplify? Well, I see that I have 4x and 3x which go together. We always start with the highest x term, or the one with the largest exponent, so x squared plus 7x, I got that again from the 4x and the 3x, plus 12. And that would be my answer. Let's try another one. If I have x plus 4 times x plus 10, I start by distributing the x to both of those in the other set of parentheses, so that gives me x squared plus x times 10 is 10x. And then do the same with the 4, plus 4x plus 40. I see, is there anything that can be simplified or combined together? These two could. So my final answer would be x squared plus 10x plus 40. So again, I like to think of it as I just do a lot of distributing, that whatever I have here has to go to both terms here and the same here. Now often teachers will teach you what's known as the FOIL method. It means the same thing. To me, it's just one other thing to memorize, so I don't always like it. But FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, and last. And it's just a way to kind of keep your system, keep everything organized. So if I have x plus 4, apparently I'm obsessed with x plus 4, times x plus 9, we want to multiply the first terms in each one, which would be x and x. So x times x is x squared. We want to then do the outside terms in each one, which are these, because they're kind of like on the outside of it if we think of it as a box, plus 9x. The inside, which would be the 4 and the x. And then the last terms of each set of parentheses, which is the 4 times 9, so 36. Again, these can simplify together, and I get x squared plus 13x plus 36. So I don't usually think of it as FOIL, but this is how a lot of the teachers that will teach it will say, well, we have to FOIL the problem, which means just we have to distribute. So let's try another one and see how we do. Let's try x minus 6 times x plus 7. One thing is you can chop chicken this, or you just have to make sure you think of this as a negative 6. So if we use Miss Terry's method, I have to give x to everybody in those set of parentheses. X times x is x squared, x times 7 is 7x. Then I have to give that negative 6, again think of it as a negative, to the x, so minus 6x or plus negative 6, and negative 6 times 7 is negative 42. Then I can combine, I have some that are just x's, 7x minus 6x is 1x, so x squared I could do plus 1x or just x minus 42. Okay, we'll do one that's a little bit more complicated. Let's do 2x minus 3 times 5x plus 6. So I am going to start by giving the 2x to both of those. 2x times 5x is 10x squared. Don't forget, anytime I have an x times x, there's x squared. 2x times 6 is 12x. Okay, now I think of this as a negative 3. Negative 3 times 5x is negative 15x. That's what I just did. And negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. I look, can I combine? Combine those two in the middle. So I get 10x squared. 12x minus 15x is negative 3x minus 18.